This is your guide to building your own skateboard part 1. Let's talk about the deck, aka the big honkin' piece of wood you stand on. The big question is, does deck size matter? And though it is a preference, of course it matters, man. Skateboards can range anywhere from like 7 inches to 9 inches, and it may seem overwhelming when looking at all the board sizes. So here's my official recommendation. Choose a deck size that complements your height. Here's a graph that I found that's kind of helpful, but essentially if you're taller than 5'3", I'd recommend starting somewhere between 7.75 and 8.5. Again, I'm 5'3" and I ride a 7.75, but that was after trial and error. At the end of the day, if you're still confused, just pick an 8-inch board and roll with it. Just don't put too much thought into it. Okay, let's quickly talk about brands. There are hundreds of brands out there that are good, and I haven't read them all. Essentially, the easiest way to figure out if a brand is quality is just go to a trustworthy skate shop website and put in the brand name in the search. If you aren't getting any results, it's most likely a poor quality board. However, this is not true in all cases, but it's a good place to start. And if you find a brand you're looking at Walmart's website, boy, oh howdy, you better get the heck out of there quick. Oh my god, I'm out of breath. Good luck, have fun, and keep shredding the gnar. This is a beginner's guide to riding a skateboard. You may think that pushing and riding sounds super basic, but you gotta have the fundamentals down before you try anything else. There are two basic stances in skating, goofy and regular. Goofy means you push with your right foot forward, regular means you push with your left foot forward. I'm goofy, but there's no right or wrong way, just do whatever feels more natural. Okay, there is actually a wrong way to push, and it's called mongo, and it's when you place your foot on the back of your board and push. Most skaters will probably roll their eyes at you if they see you doing this, but it's also just a poor technique. You just don't have enough control over the board, so don't even get in the habit of doing it. Okay, so let's flip and talk about how to push. So, place your front foot around the top bolts of your deck and have it pointed in the direction you are heading. With your back foot, push off the ground. You should put slightly more weight on your front foot while you're pushing. When you have a comfortable amount of speed, put your back foot on your board and shift your feet so they're both facing forward. Also, try to keep your feet spread apart to distribute your weight equally across the board. Remember, this is wrong, this is wrong. This is actually correct in a few states, but I wouldn't recommend it. Have fun, good luck, and keep. It seems I taught you how to ride a skateboard, but I forgot to tell you how to turn, so whoops, let's talk about that. There are two main ways to turn on a skateboard, and I'll run through them both for you right now. Depending on how loose your trucks are, you can lean inward or outward to turn the board. The direction that you'll turn depends on your stance, goofy or regular. For me, because I'm goofy, leaning inward turns me left and leaning outward turns me right. If you're regular footed, this will be the opposite. You can also do what us skater boys call a kick turn, which can be used to make more dramatic turns quicker. To do this, push down on your tail and twist your body in the direction you want to go, and then place the front of the board back down on the ground. It is important not to scrape your tail against the ground when you're doing this maneuver. As you continue to make progress in your skating, you'll start to use both of these techniques at the same time. You may lean inward on your board while doing a kick turn, so practice both separately and then together. I'd recommend that you find an empty basketball court or tennis court to practice your turning. You'll have a lot of room to practice and you won't have to worry about the terrible pavement you may find out in the streets. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. So, how do you stop this thing? I mean, you can power slide, you can drag your foot on the ground, you can slide on your tail, you can simply even step off the board or add a little flair and jump off and grab the board. Each one of these techniques has their own positive and negative, so let's run through them real quick. For example, dragging your tail will help you stop pretty quick, but do this too often and you'll get a bad case of razor tail on your board. Dragging your foot on the ground is a very safe way to slow down and stop, but this can also tear up your shoes after a while. So if you got a lot of shoe money, I mean, go for it. But I don't have that kind of money, okay? Just jumping off your board is very comfortable, but can be dangerous if you jump off wrong. You're gonna get a mouthful of pavement. And of course, power slides look cool as hell, but they require a bit more practice. So what should you do? Do whatever is comfortable for you, but be familiar with several techniques as you may be in a situation where one way to stop is safer than another. I do the spinny little manual thing to stop, like, all the ding-dang time. Or just remember, if you never roll, you never have to stop. Good luck, have fun, and keep shredding the gnar. I told you about goofy and regular stances previously, but today I'm going to talk to you about two different types of stances, switch and fakie, so let's go. These stances are going to be a little bit different than your standard skateboard stance, and you use them in special circumstances. This is my standard goofy stance. Your switch stance is going to be your opposite stance, so if you're goofy like me, your switch stance would be regular, and if you're regular, your switch stance would be goofy. And fakie is when you're in your goofy or regular stance, but you're simply just rolling backwards. That probably sounds like a bunch of mumbo jumbo, so let's break it down a little bit more. Switch can be best described as your mirror stance. So for me, this would be my switch stance. Think of switch like the hard mode for your tricks. It'd be like trying to throw a football with your left hand if you're right-handed. For example, here's my goofy footed ollie, and here's my beautiful switch ollie. Yeah, it ain't good, but I'm not bragging about it. When you're rolling backwards or fakie, doing tricks may not be as difficult than your regular stance, but landing may feel a bit different. For some reason for me, kickflips are actually a lot easier in fakie, but they don't look as clean. I don't know why, it just be like that. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. Skate shoes can be pricey, and if you're like me, you want them to last as long as possible. So I'm going to show you how you can repair those holes real quick. First, you're going to get yourself some of the shoe glue. You can get it at like any store or Amazon for like less than $5. Next, you're going to dab some of this good stuff on your shoe holes and use a Q-tip, a toothpick, or whatever else you have to spread it over the holes. And then just let it vibe for like 8 hours to dry. I always like to put the shoe glue on after I'm done skating for the day. And then bada bing bada boom, you're ready to roll. Pretend I'm outside skating here. It's been raining for like 2 days, so I couldn't get any footage. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. Here are some tips for cruising on a skateboard part 1. First things first, watch where you're going. Focus on where you're going and not what's around you. Keep an eye out for sticks, cracks, whatever the heck this is. If you hit one of those things, you're not gonna have a good time. By the way, this shot was not planned, I for real did that. Depending on the size of the crack, you can pop the front of your board up just a little bit to clear it. If you do this properly, your back wheel should follow and you'll continue to ride away smooth. It takes just the slightest weight shift to pop the nose, but practicing this will make your cruise session a lot smoother. When you're cruising around, please wear proper shoes. Whenever I see people riding barefoot or wearing flip-flops, it gives me anxiety. Wearing improper shoes is a fantastic way not only to cut up your foot, but you could also end up smashing your face in the ground, and I promise you that is not the way to live. Alright, one more thing. When you're cruising around, bend your knees just the slightest. This will help you have a little bit more control over the board. Don't be so stiff, man. Relax a little. You're riding a skateboard, not doing your taxes. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. If you're still having troubles ollieing, I'm going to show you a few additional tips to really help you figure out what's going on. Quick refresher though, to do an ollie, you send that tail to the ground, jump straight up, and drag your foot up and level out. I often see beginners do something like this, and there's a couple things wrong with it. First, you gotta crouch lower than that, homie. Remember, an ollie is a jump, meaning you gotta jump. To visualize the ollie, break it down. Practice popping the board. Practice dragging your foot. Practice even jumping straight up into the air. And then visualize all those pieces and put it all back together to do an ollie. It takes time and practice. Please don't get discouraged, you've got it. Now stop watching TikToks and go practice, will ya? Also, I do have a longer ollie video on my YouTube channel. I'd recommend checking that out. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. Today, I'm going to teach you how to do a Pop Shuv-It. A Pop Shuv-It is just an evolved version of a Shove-It, which doesn't require an ollie. However, a Pop Shuv-It does require one. That's why they call it a Pop Shuv-It. You know, because it pops. To do this trick, you're going to set up in your ollie position, but with your back foot a little bit more on the edge of the tail. Your back foot is going to do this backward shoving motion to get the board spinning in a 180 motion. What I would recommend first is stepping off the board and just trying to use your back foot to get the board to spin. A good way to get used to this is try to imagine gum is on the bottom of your shoe and you're trying to scrape it off with your grip tape. Of course, don't try to actually get real gum off your shoe with your grip tape, because that's just not cool. When you think you got the motion down, do an ollie, and just as you start to ascend, give the board a spin with your back foot. Once you send it spinning, focus on getting that back foot back on the board. The front foot doesn't really do too much in this trick. The only thing it really does is lift up, and as the front bolts come around, get ready to stomp on it with your front foot. The Pop Shuv-It is a great first trick to learn once you got an ollie down, because it really helps you focus on flipping the board. So have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. Okay, let's talk about power slides. First, a disclaimer, I actually don't do power slides a ton, so I'm not great at them, but I'll teach you what I know. A power slide is when you shift your board horizontally to slow down or completely stop. However, it can be slightly more dangerous than just other ways to stop, so use caution please. This maneuver is really all in your back foot. You're going to slightly wind up and spin towards your front foot, then putting your weight on your back foot to spin to make your back foot horizontal to your front foot. Once you do that, try to distribute your weight to both feet and lean back slightly. This will help so you don't just fly off the board. A good way to practice this is to stand still and try to just spin your whole body. As you can tell, I can also practice this a little bit more. That's really about it. It's not super complex. I would recommend just trying to do it while going very slow. You can also do a backside if that's more comfortable to you. Or if you want to show off that cake, man. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. If you're a beginner skateboarder, I'd recommend picking up one of these tools. Most people I chat with just call this a skate tool, though sometimes it's referred to as a reflex tool. What's cool about this is that it's an all-in-one tool that you can use to make quick adjustments on your skateboard. One side of the tool is used for loosening and taking off your wheels, another side is used for loosening and tightening your trucks, and the final side is used for adjusting the nuts that hold the base plate to your board. It also comes with this little hex tool or Allen wrench, I don't know what to call it, I'm not no tool boy, but you use it to hold the screw so it makes adjustments even easier. This tool is an absolute lifesaver, and it's so easy just to toss into a bag before you go out for a skate session. They're also fairly cheap. You can get them for like $5 to $10 on Amazon or any skate shop really. There's also plenty that come with even more tools built into them. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. Here are some tips for cruising on a skateboard, part 2. First, let's talk about a way you can get on your skateboard. You can always go with the classic drop and then just ride away, but if you want to add a little bit more style to it, you can run into it instead. To do this, run with your skateboard and drop the board. As it's dropping, place your front foot at the top of the board. When your front foot catches the board, use your last step on the ground to place your back foot on the board. This is a great way to get some speed right from the get-go. We've got a little bit more time, so here are some turning tips. When you're making gradual turns to your right or left, put all your weight on your feet and lean gently forward or back using your ankles as a kind of a pivot point. Combine this with bending your knees and your turns will be smooth as gravy. To ease out of your turn, just simply stand straight back up and you'll be good to go. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. Here's some tips on how to do an ollie while rolling. Of course, you're going to want to be able to do an ollie before you start practicing them rolling, but don't give up, you got it! The biggest thing to keep in mind while doing an ollie while rolling is focusing on jumping with your board. You lean a very tad bit forward to get your body moving with the board, but focus on where you're trying to land with the board. When I do an ollie rolling, it almost feels like I'm following my front foot through the air. Again, focus on jumping with the board. If you lean too far back, it'll look something like this, and if you lean too far forward, it will look like this. So follow the board and jump with it and let momentum and gravity move you through the air. Another good practice is try to find something you can jump over that won't cause you to get hurt, maybe a small crack or even just a line in the ground. This will help you practice your timing with ollies and making sure you jump at the right time. And you won't have to be going that fast to practice this. Good luck, have fun, and keep shredding the gnar. Here are some super easy tricks to do for beginners, part 1. Trick number 1 is an old school kickflip. This is a great first trick as it teaches you to watch the board rotate beneath you. Simply just hop off the board, bend down, and flip with your hands and jump back on. You will come to a full stop though when you do this, so maybe just add a little flair to it later on. Trick number 2 is a manual. A manual is when you balance on the back wheels of your skateboard without the tail hitting the ground. This is a good trick as it helps you learn balance, plus they're fun as heck. I have a full tutorial on my TikTok page, by the way, doing a manual, so check that out. If you're looking for a stylish way to pick up your board, let's try that again. Trick number 3 is a nollie pickup. This is a sweet little trick to add just as you're hopping off your board. Simply just stomp on the nose of the board with your front foot as you hop off and catch it as it bounces in the air. Follow me for part 2, and as always, have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. This is easy skateboard tricks for absolute beginners, part 2. First, let's talk about the caveman. A caveman is when you hop on the board from just a running or walking position. This is a fun little way just to hop on your board. As you jump, just simply put the board underneath your feet and roll away. You can also spice it up a little and throw a hand flip into it. If you're trying to do a trick and your board accidentally lands truck side up, you can do this trick to add a little style to flipping your board back over. It's called the feet stomp. Simply tuck your toes underneath your grip tape and jump up. As you jump up, your board will flip and then you can land right back on the board. And try to aim for the bolts on this one. This final trick is probably the hardest one so far. It's called a to-rail or sometimes called a primo. There are 2 ways to do this trick. You can either push it down with your foot and hop on, or you can roll into it by pushing both your feet forward while standing still, and then just push your feet back and roll away. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. Here are some balancing tips if you're just starting to skateboard. First, make sure your feet are in the correct position. Both feet should be behind the bolts in these sections. Don't put your feet too close or too far apart because that's going to mess up your balance. Now, stand on your board as much as possible. Get used to just being on your skateboard. You can do this either in the grass or on some carpet, wherever you can. When you think you're ready to hit the concrete, find something that you can hold on to. This could be a fence, a pole, a friend, whatever you can find. Just something to help you practice standing on the board while maybe rolling slightly. Finally, skate as much as possible. I've said this before, but every time you're on your board, you're getting better. So ride around just as much as possible, even if it's just some slow movements. For example, when I made this video, I couldn't skate as much as I wanted to because there were some homeless dudes sleeping next to the tennis courts, but I still just rode around for practice. Anyway, have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. Let me show you all how to do a frontside 180. This is a super fun trick and a great second trick once you got that ollie down. First, foot setup is exactly the same as it is for an ollie. However, before you ollie, you're going to wind up your body in the opposite direction you want to spin. Twist to build up that energy, and as you ollie, release your arms to spin. Second, your front foot is going to drag the board along with the spin. When your front foot reaches the nose of the deck, spin that front foot behind you. Follow the spin of your body. As in, it should be all one fluid motion, don't let your front foot get ahead of you. As you finish out the spin, level out and land. Since you're now riding backwards, make sure you shift your weight accordingly so you don't eat some cement. This trick is one of those tricks, for me at least, where it is actually harder to do standing still, so try it while rolling to help build up that momentum for the spin. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. This is Easy Tricks for Beginners Part 3. Okay, first let's talk about the Casper flip, I guess. It's technically not that, but I don't know what else to call it. This is another good one if your board accidentally flips over and you're trying to look like you know what you're doing. Tuck one foot under the grip tape side and put the other on the tail. Jump straight up into the air and give the board a little shove with your foot that's on the tail. This will swing the board around to the grip tape side and you just land on it and it looks so clean. Next, let's talk about the monster walk. Spooky, right? This is simply done by putting one foot on the tail of the board and the other on the nose. Now adjust your weight back and forth and move as if you're walking. This helps you practice both balance and weight adjustments, so it's a good one to learn. Good luck, have fun, and keep shredding the gnar. I've got a couple more for you. This is Easy Tricks for Beginners Part 4. First, let's talk about the hand flip. This is a trick you can do standing still. First, put both of your feet on the tail of the board and grab the top of the nose with one of your hands. Jump up and flick the board with your hand. Keep your feet out of the way and wait till the board makes a full rotation, stomp down, and roll away. This is a really fun one and it looks cool if you do it right at the end of a line. Next, let's talk about the Tic Tac, not to get confused with this app. The Tic Tac is kind of like a series of quick manuals. Adjust your weight to lift the tail up and shift a little and put the board back down. Do the same but do it in the opposite direction. This technique will help you pick up speed without having to push. This one's a lot of fun the more quick you go, but please be careful. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding ye olde gnar. One trick you can do without knowing how to ollie. It's called a boneless and it's one of my favorite tricks to do. Let me show you how to do it. First, while riding on the board, grab the middle of that bad boy between your front and back legs. Firmly grasp it in your hand. Next, you're gonna step off the board with your front foot. Your back foot will stay on the board. This will cause the board to automatically pop up. Once the board begins to pop, you're gonna jump straight up into the air with the foot that's on the ground. When you reach your maximum height, you're gonna put your front foot back on the board, let go with your hand, and land and roll away. I love this trick because there's a lot of variety you can do with it. Like you can do a 180, a 360, whatever this is. And let's talk about how to get over your initial fear of skateboarding. I'm gonna break this up into two pieces because I don't wanna rush anything because I think it's important. So follow me for part 2. I'll be honest with you though, if you wanna get good at skateboarding, you're gonna have to take a few hits here and there. But getting over that initial hump of fear may be difficult. This is the biggest piece of advice I can give on this subject. Just spend time on your board. The more time you spend on your board, the more comfortable you'll be. No one told you had to land a kickflip on your first day of skating, but that would be rad if you could. Skateboarding takes a lot of time and practice, so don't rush yourself. Find some flat ground and just roll around slowly every day. Don't worry about trying to do tricks until you feel like you are in complete control of your board. Trust me, you'll know when that is. If a baby starts crawling, you don't expect it to start sprinting the next day. So take your time and just cruise around. Get comfortable on your board. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. Let's talk more about how to get over your fear of skateboarding. Because of the topics I'm going to talk about, I'm going to start off by saying I personally always recommend you wear a helmet. A big part of skateboarding is commitment, and that's a lot of times the missing link to why you get scared of skateboarding. You have to commit when you get on the board, but don't worry, you can start off very easily. For example, find a fence or something you can hold onto and roll around, but commit. Don't freak out and step off instantly. Really focus on trying to stay on the board as long as you can. When you got that down, start rolling around without holding on to anything, but the same rules apply. Commit. Don't start riding and then jump off when nothing is going wrong. A lot of times the worst injuries come from panicking and jumping off the board instead of committing. If nothing is going wrong, don't freak out. That's good. That means you're improving. You're gonna get hurt. That's just a fact about being a skateboarder, but work on committing and staying on your board because you'll need it for every trick you learn. Follow me for part 3. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. A lot of people have asked for it, so here it is, how to kickflip. First, I'd recommend you have a solid ollie down, so make sure you're very comfortable with ollies. The better your ollie, the easier the kickflip will be. For foot positioning, it's very similar to an ollie, except your front foot will be slightly more on the edge of your board. I personally also like to move my foot higher up on the board because it helps with my weight adjustment, but that's just me. You may not need to do that. Now, even though it's called a kickflip, it's more of like a flick flip. Let me explain. So do an ollie, and as your front foot starts to reach the highest point of your board, you're going to flick your front foot out of the corner of the board. Really aim for that corner. Wait for the full rotation and slam down when that grip tape comes back around. Now that sounds easier than it is. This is a very difficult trick at first, so don't give up. And because this is such a difficult trick, I'm gonna make a part 2, so follow me for that. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. Shove-Its are a great trick for beginners, and the coolest part is you don't even need to know how to do an ollie to do one. Let me show you how. First, a shove-it is a simple half spin of the board. It's called a shove-it because, well, you shove it to get it spinning. You place your back foot on the tail end of the board and your front foot somewhere in the middle or a little higher on the board. The front foot actually doesn't do too much in this trick, but we'll get to that later. With your back foot, you're going to shove the board towards your back. A good way to get used to this motion is pretend that there is like gum on your shoe and you're trying to scrape it off with your grip tape. Another good way to get the spin going is to wind up your body just a tad. Finally, jump right when your back foot shoves the board. Jump straight up into the air and wait for the board to come back around. As you will see, my front foot only lifts up and lands back on the board. That's all it does. This is a really fun one, and the trickiest part is trying to figure out how much power to put in your shove, so keep practicing it and don't give up. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding thou gnar. Still having issues with that kickflip? Here are some additional tips that help me get this trick down. If your board is doing something like this or this, you probably need to do some weight adjustment. For me, my best kickflips are when I put a little bit more weight on my front foot right before I ollie. This helps me jump straight up and makes my flick more out instead of up or down. So maybe try leaning just a little bit forward right before your ollie. This works for me, but may not work for you. If you got that stanky flip down but you're not landing it, try doing it in fakie or riding backwards. For some reason, my flicking is always way better when I'm riding fakie. I don't know why, it just be like that. Hope that helps. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. If you're gonna skateboard, you're gonna fall. So here are some tips to help you fall properly so you don't get too hurt. First, if possible, always try to run out of your tricks. If you do a trick and something starts going wrong, ditch the board and hit the ground running. This takes a little time to get used to, but once you got it down, it'll save you from landing hard on the ground. However, if you find yourself falling to the ground, avoid trying to catch yourself with your hands because you could break your wrist. Instead, try to roll into it with your shoulders to avoid hurting your head or wrist. I was gonna film a couple more examples, but people keep looking at me because I just keep falling. So I'm not gonna film anymore. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. So you're afraid of people judging you while you learn to skate. First, don't worry about what people are thinking of you. I know that's a lot easier said than done, but just trust me, they are not judging you. You need to push that out of your mind or you're never going to be able to learn how to skate. Unfortunately, standing around and holding your board isn't going to help you land that ollie, though that would be rad if it did. What helps me a lot is putting in some noise-canceling headphones and blast some tunes. Nothing a little music can't fix. Second, remember that everyone was a beginner at some point. Think about this. At one point, Tony Hawk didn't know how to ride a skateboard. So just because you aren't doing kickflips down a 30 stair today doesn't mean you won't be able to eventually. I guess what I'm trying to say is ignore everyone around you and just focus on your skating. Have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. Today, I'm going to show you how to jump with a skateboard, otherwise known as an ollie. As a skateboarder, the question I get the most often is, how do you make that board stick to your feet when you jump? So let me show you. I always like to think of the skateboard like a seesaw. When one side goes down, the other side goes up. This is the same motion that happens when you do an ollie. When you give one side of the board a big old nasty stomping, you can see this motion in effect. Keep this in mind when you start practicing. The stomp is what initially gets the board into the air, but we have to do a little bit more to help it out. And to do that, you're going to turn and drag your foot up the front of the board. Once your foot reaches the top of the board, you're going to level out your feet and let that dummy thick gravity do the rest. So now let's put it all together. Pop with your back foot, drag up with your front foot, and level out. You gotta get the ollie down before you can do a bunch of other tricks, so keep practicing, don't give up. And as always, have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. Here's another trick you can do without knowing how to ollie. It's called a manual, and essentially what you're doing is balancing on the back wheels of your board without the tail touching the ground. But let me give you some tips. The best way to explain this is start by leaning back on your board, and right when your front wheels come off the ground, shift a tiny weight back towards the front of your board. And I mean like the tiniest bit of weight. What helps me is to try to visualize an even amount of weight distributed right below you. Also, it helps to put your arms out a little to help distribute your weight because of physics, I think. I don't know, help me out, Hank Green. It really is just a balancing act, and it takes practice to figure out how much weight to spread across your board. Also, you can find a big old crack to help you get started. That way you don't have to worry about rolling around. And as always, have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar.